snowflakes. The little soil blocks of mostly kale and some lettuce, and the big soil blocks of lettuce here, these guys are all going out into the greenhouse beds today. It has been raining and raining and raining and raining and raining, and right now it's kind of sprinkling, but the sun is trying to poke out from behind the clouds. I'm going to be in these greenhouses today putting starts in the beds there. Okay, everybody, wake up. Hello, everyone. So this greenhouse is going to later be planted in basil. Right now I have little transplants of sugar snap peas and direct seeded carrots, which are not coming up yet. Radishes at all of the bed ends are up. And in this bed that I'm going to be working in today, I've got my first round of kale starts that survived my crappy soil mix, and they're planted at the drip holes along all of the drip lines. And so I'm going to take the little tiny soil blocks of kale and jam them in amongst all the other kale here. And I think what I'm going to do first is water this bed here and cover it up again where I've got the carrots, you know, get them all soaked again. And then I think I'm gonna run the drip on this kale because I kind of let this bed get a little dry. Anyway, that's the plan, folks. I'm using this Haas watering can because it has a really gentle pour of water. La la la. Watered and covered back up. It's raining. So I'm going to start working in this bed of kale. And I've got, this is some green onions from that first batch of crappy soil mix. I'm just waiting to see if some continue to pop up. And so I've got mostly kale here, Black Magic, and one little test of Toscana. And this, these little tiny blocks of leaf lettuce are gonna go over to the other greenhouse when I start working on the lettuce over there. I apologize for the noise. So I have 140 of the little tiny plugs of kale, but not all of them germinated. And I don't know, about like maybe 50 little drip hole areas. So I'm gonna like try and jam 2 starts in between all of the existing kale. That's my plan. I've got the dripping, which seems pretty weird to be like watering while it's raining. But these guys, you know, are doing pretty nice. These are the little soil blocks that I made from potting soil. I've got so many rocks in the soil. And they have really long necks. So I'm gonna try not to break their necks. Doop-de-doo. There we go. The rain stopped and the sun is trying to pop out. I've got all my little plugs planted, and lettuce is gonna go over in the other greenhouse. And I've got what, 2, 4, 5 times 4, 23 that are probably just gonna go in the compost. And 3 times 5, 15, 16 that didn't really germinate. So there we go. I'm using this watering can that I usually use at the house to water in these little starts, because it's has a smaller pour. Okie doke, we are in the cucumber greenhouse, or what will be the cucumbers, and I'm going to be planting out the large blocks of lettuce and these little guys too. This bed is direct seeded baby greens, which I really would like to get watered today, but I'm going to focus on getting transplants in here. This is the bed where I was supposed to put out my initial transplants, but you know, they didn't work right, so they didn't germinate. So I direct seeded some lettuce, and I am starting to see little lettuces coming up from that seeding. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take those transplants and pop them in amidst all these seeds that are germinating. It's raining again. I just started the drip hose in this bed where I'm going to plant the lettuce so that the lines would stay straight. And I have about 63 that are germinated here. And so I'm going to put one plant per drip hole, which is about every foot, and I'm going to have 3 rows. The rain stopped again and the sun's trying to come out. I got all the little lettuces planted. I mostly use the big blocks. I've only got 12 here that didn't germinate. And then I planted out just a couple of the little guys. We've got 10 here that will just probably go in the compost, and 5 that didn't germinate. And one guy, I don't know. Oh, he was growing between the blocks. So I really kind of like the big blocks because they were kind of moist and the soil is moist. So I'm not going to really need to water those in. And I'll just water in the couple little tiny blocks because they were a little bit dry. Yeah. But anyway, so that's done. And I think that since their leaves aren't wet, I'm just going to go ahead and cover these guys up tonight. I might even cover the kale up tonight if I feel like their leaves have dried out in the next few hours. I'm going to get some water on this bed of direct seeded stuff. Alrighty, so I've got the baby green seeds watered and covered, and I got the lettuce bed covered here. And I was really careful to plant the seeds that I direct seeded. You know, red leaf lettuce this way and all the green leaf lettuce this way, because they kind of grow a little bit differently. But then when I transplanted the lettuce out, I just randomly threw the red and green accidentally throughout the bed. So it's going to be a really colorful bed of lettuce when it all comes up. Already back over in the other greenhouse where I planted the kale. I decided to go ahead and cover it up, and I put some water in some buckets again so I can have greenhouse temperature water. Celebrate good times, come on. Can you guys see kale that's coming up? I had better get these guys out to the greenhouse tables. I've got the 2 flats of kale out here on the table in the basil greenhouse. And I think I'm just going to leave these guys uncovered during the day so that they have a lot of light and they don't get leggy. And then just cover them up at night. You can see that the blocks that don't have the perlite aren't coming up quite as well. This 40-foot bed, 30-inch wide, planting of carrots. I started picking this, I think, for personal use starting in October sometime, and picked all the way through the winter from under the snow and everything. And I have this little, I don't know, 8-foot patch at the very end. Oh my goodness, a spotted cutworm. Guys, a spotted cutworm. He's alive and living in my carrots under the tarp. Tyler pointed out last night that my raspberry plants are budding out, and so I didn't have enough deer fencing to go all the way around these guys. So what I'm doing is taking some little stakes about 4 feet long, pounding them in to about 3-foot height, and wrapping the a little bit of deer fencing that I have from last year. Last year I just used sticks to try and hold it up, but it was kind of hard to keep the deer out. So that's what I'm doing right now. Alrighty, so for some of these, the stakes went in. I've got 3 feet. I snagged the deer fencing on a couple screws. But there are some where the stakes would hit a log in the hugelkultur, like this one in the back here, and it just wouldn't, yeah, it's just kind of wobbly. This one, the stakes just wouldn't go in hardly at all. So I just put the sticks back in there, and the deer can just put their noses right up underneath here. So that's annoying. Weeds. So yeah, and I've got little raspberry shoots coming out here, so I'm sure they're just gonna pop up everywhere outside of these little fences. So yeah. Okay, dudes, so I guess I've got to get some more deer fencing.
Oh no, so expensive.
The chard is starting to come up. Yay! And my first batch of green onion sets, they're starting to come up in the soil blocks that don't have the perlite. So the green onions and the chard are going out to the greenhouse table. Everybody is out here on the table together. Green onions and chard along with the kale and the really sad old green onions. And if you notice, none of the soil blocks that have just soil on top are germinating. So from now on, when I seed flats of soil blocks, I'm putting perlite on their little heads. Oakley dokley, folklies. I've got my 3 flats, 2 flats of lettuce, 1 flat of bok choy, 1 new shiny tub of green onions. And I'm going to grab my buckets of potting soil and make some soil blocks. Bok choy, 2 seeds per cell. Lettuce, 1 seed per cell. Green onions, 12 seeds per set. I'm in the basil greenhouse with the sugar snap peas and the kale, and I've pulled the cover off because we're getting a little bit of sun and the carrots are still waiting to germinate. And here in the cucumber greenhouse where I'm giving the lettuce a little bit of light, the radishes at the bed ends, and my little lofty salad mix. Well, folks, that is it for the week. Last of the carrots harvested, raspberry plants popping out, things are germinating. I realize that things are going to grow this year. I always think that it's not going to happen, but it's going to happen. Yay! See you guys next week. Little dear friend, are you sitting in the sunshine? Oh boy, I'm going to leave you alone now, okay? Okay, bye.